Hi again. Yesterday, some of you already heard a case study I shared with you about KFC, our work with EXO as a branded game. Mobile Now as an innovation studio, mobile innovation studio based in Shanghai again. We're actually working on a lot of different type of projects for different kind of clients. We work with automotive, we work with luxury brands, we work also with FMCGs, and we work on different mobile stuff. 6 years ago, apps were a very big thing. They still are. Today we're working more and more on something called WeChat. WeChat, we've talked a lot about WeChat in the past few days, in the past few presentations yesterday. So I think by now you should know it's a pretty important platform, kind of a disruptive platform, but it's not just a social network. It's a lot more than that. So perfect. So today I kind of came to Paris with the mission of sharing with you what can be done on WeChat. And in particular, what I think is very relevant to some of you is the concept of social shopping. And it's very much linked to a lot of the conversations we heard in the previous panel around targeted, I would say, activities or services to Chinese outbound travelers. Their numbers are growing very fast. And they're traveling to Europe, they're traveling to the Middle East, they're traveling to Tokyo, and plenty of other places, as mentioned earlier. So today I want to talk about WeChat, and I don't have a lot of time, so I'll just focus on a few of these pointers. And I'll stay here because there's a screen I can read. So first, very briefly, what makes WeChat more than a social network? Because it is more than just a social network. Some of the numbers I'm sharing now are the same numbers coming from the WeChat social impact presentation, the WeChat impact report presentation that Gang Lu shared yesterday. And there's a lot of people on WeChat, and actually they're really using WeChat a lot. They open it pretty much all the time, share pictures, share messages, and do now a lot more than that. They pay. So it's a mobile payment service, and they access branded services, okay? So this is how you exchange your contact details to keep connected on WeChat. You scan each other's QR code. And today, this is how brands also engage their users, their customers, onto WeChat. They get people to scan their QR codes to access their service accounts, their official accounts, so that they can then interact with the brands. Now, this is a very new and recent development, but mobile commerce is now part of the whole WeChat development. So some entrepreneurs, but also some companies have started to build their custom stores onto WeChat. Not just stores, but services. I think it's been about a year and a couple of months ago that WeChat started to open their APIs and provide ways, technical ways for companies to start to build their own services onto WeChat, integrated into the platform. This is how you pay on WeChat. So you've scanned your credit card the first time. By the way, this is not something you can do in Europe. This is why a lot of people in Europe don't understand WeChat. If you're in China, you have a feature you can open. There's a button that appears in the Me section, which is called a wallet, and that's where you can enable your payment services. Expect that to happen soon in the rest of the world. I don't know when, but clearly the trend for Alipay and for WeChat Pay is to internationalize. They're coming. So 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever is my password, and I've paid. I scan the QR code in a store, in retail, and I've paid. It's called a mobile wallet. That's what WeChat is today in China. And retail stores are starting to integrate with this payment functionality. So that's quite interesting. And it's also in particular interesting, I think, in considering, again, how to approach the social network out of Europe. So brands are on WeChat, and they do experiment a lot. They do a lot of different things. For example, McDonald's allows me to check where's the closest store around me. And it's working on delivery services and quick service restoration services on WeChat as well. So soon, I will be able to order my McDonald's from WeChat and then even track the delivery man as he's coming to my door. Maybe have a chat with him if he's lost on the way. And here he is with my food. Ctrip is a travel service search engine. So it's actually a travel agent. Their WeChat service generates a lot of revenues for them. It's very recent, very new. And they have an app. They have also a mobile internet site, but they have a WeChat service account as well, on which they start to sell hotels and they start to sell flight tickets. And then the list goes on and on and on. It's really become a very interesting innovation vehicle or disruptive platform for brands to start to create their own services. I would like to make a comparison with Timo and with maybe Ehaudien. What's really interesting with WeChat is that they're competing with the other titans by creating an open platform. It's a very Western-style thinking, actually, type of philosophy in terms of technology. It's enabling us to create our own services. We're really not talking here about talking to another vendor or a reseller and just using them like that. We're talking about building our own services. So key opportunities on WeChat. I'll share with you some of the work we've done and also first some of the key pointers, I think, in terms of how brands are starting to experiment on WeChat. I think the first key tip I would give is that if you're starting to work on WeChat, you should try to think about putting in content in there, customizing your own service account in ways that make the content goes viral. It is a social network, so the first thing to do is to really create viral content or content that people will feel very comfortable or interested to share with their friends. Okay, so it sounds like an obvious thing, but it's the first way to start. And I think I've seen a couple of interesting examples yesterday on how this is done, which is good. In China, this is currently what most brands are doing, promoting and creating viral content. You can promote your services as well, and there's different features that allow you to show where the stores are, that allows you to even share additional kind of content. The next stage, and this is one that's a little bit more complex because it requires to get deeper in the technology, is to build user-centric services. That in general means you need to integrate to some of your own platforms, to your own supply platforms, to your own CRM, to your own retail services, your own content sharing services. The next level is to then enable M-payments, mobile payments. That means opening, of course, a payment functionality, integrating to your bank account, and starting to collect revenues, right? Then you can start to engage your customers as well into CRM, loyalty program. You can also start to generate or create offline to online mechanics, games, and other type of activities. You can also enable mobile commerce. And that's what I'm going to focus on a little bit today. So content that goes viral, that's kind of how it looks like. It's like, you could say Facebook or WhatsApp in a way. It's basically, somebody shares some content and then people comment on it. And they do so because it's a very, I would say, private network. It's something that enable people to exist, to show to the rest of their friends that they have an opinion, that they validate their personality, their content, and that's what makes actually WeChat really works. And if you can, kind of surf on that wave, you can really make your brands being shared around friends in a very powerful way. So it's the first, I would say, thing to start to do on WeChat is to build viral services and even build services that are generating this virtual circle on snowball effect, and that comes from really right from the concept that you want to build into it, the design of it, and then the build of it. Okay. So this is what we did for Michael Kors. That was about a couple of months after WeChat started to open their APIs to allow us to do custom development work. We did a couple of things. One was a WeChat account, and the other one was this 360 video app on Android and iOS, which was really cool, actually, because it's a live video that you can play with the gyroscope. But on WeChat, what was really interesting then is that during this fashion show in Shanghai, which was called a Jet Set Fashion Show, we were integrating with a lot of different artifacts or devices and digital activities in the show. So there were iPads for people to take GIF animations of themselves, and then they could find this content on WeChat and share it right away. And that was happening during the show, and it kind of caught on like a snowball effect, and started to spread the news about the show itself. So again, just really like a social network type activity with customized content coming right from the show, coming from the people that were participating to the fashion show. Now, you can also promote your brand and services, and this is kind of how it looks like. You have this menu item at the bottom that you can customize, and then you kind of can promote your services through these interactive pull-triggered information services. So it's a bit feeling like a remote control. You tap on buttons and you have these pop-up boxes that come up, and you can discover content. And when you tap on one item, you can access a deeper level of content. Some of it could be a custom HTML5 user experience. We work with Lane Crawford as well. Lane Crawford is a very famous luxury retail company in Hong Kong and in China. So it's a bit like Le Bon Marché here, or Luisa Via di Roma, I guess, in Rome, in Florence, Firenze. And what we do with them, it's quite interesting. First, we started by opening the service account platform and starting to create a custom WeChat account with a number of CRM, e-commerce functionality, and also pre-sale and after-sale services, so people can interact via WeChat with their sales support. And now the next thing we're doing, which is currently in development, is integrating to something called the enterprise account. The enterprise account is a different type of account that provides companies the ability to build an intranet that allows basically us to build a service to their salespeople in store and access a securized service so they can find their sales targets, they can find information they can share to customers. They can also submit information that gets fed back to the system, to the management. So it's really an intranet-enabled platform. And we're linking the two together so we can create a better service. Right? So again, think about salespeople that are Chinese. They're anyway going to be on WeChat, and they can access the WeChat account of Lane Crawford to access information and act right away to the customers they are meeting. Very interesting case, and this is launching in June with the enterprise account. But there's much more you can do, and the trend really is to build these user service-centric services within WeChat. So I talked about Ctrip, McDonald's, Lane Crawford already, but there's much more innovation that's coming through with O2O, so online to offline, or offline to online. There's even O2O2O now, the new buzzword in China. And you can build these services that integrate back to the social network. So it's great because you have this possibility to let people share their experience to their friends. And the thing is, they do. It's in their DNA. They like to share the positive experiences. So here's basically a concept I want to share with you, which is something we are working on at the moment, which is in development. It's a user journey, so I hope it makes it really clear for you in terms of how this works. And it's focused on the Chinese outbound traveler in China, so people that travel outside of China. Specifically, they travel often for shopping, in order to go for some shopping experiences around the world. And it's called My Luxury Shopper. And this is a concept that actually came through us via an entrepreneur. And I'll just say hi to Emmanuel in the room, if you can just say hello. So she's the helm of this concept. And we've been starting to design and develop this concept now for about 3 months. Started to talk about it for a year. But since there's new APIs and new possibilities open on WeChat, we come here to offer this idea and concept to you guys. We think it's quite relevant to Paris in particular. So the first very interesting thing that I'll share with you is that we know that Chinese travelers, most of them, 90% of them, they plan the luxury goods purchase from home. In China, they go into stores, they check on the web, they ask their friends, and they kind of know what they want to buy before they actually come to Paris, or Milan, or Firenze. They know what they want to buy. Not everything, but mostly. 38% of them know exactly which products they will be buying, and 49% are heading to social media pages for their primary source of information. They don't trust media, they trust their friends. This is why it's so interesting to play and work with WeChat. So here's our friend. Her name is Nelly, and she's been, reading a magazine, and she's planning her trip to Paris, and she's scanning the QR code to your service account. If you're a brand, of course, or let's say you're Luisa Via Roma, okay? So this is a service account to Luisa Via Roma. She's scanning the QR code of an article from a magazine that she's found from Luisa Via Roma, and she's enabling the WeChat account and following it. The next thing she can do is to start to look through content and book her visit from the WeChat account to the store. So she can basically start to let Luisa Via Roma, hey, or Louis Vuitton or Gucci, I'm coming, and I'm very interested to meet you, and I'm ready to buy some stuff with you guys. She could start to access the catalog and create her own shopping list, plan basically her trip ahead, and she saves that on her shopping list. And whenever she comes back to My Luxury Shopper, we of course remember who she is, so she'll be able to keep her previous history in memory and keep adding on to the list as she's actually scanning through information back in China. Maybe she's going to the store and kind of checking out goods around. And then she can start to share with her friends, very easily, click of a button, hey, I'm going to Paris, or to Firenze. And invite people to start to also get onto My Luxury Shopper. She's able to then ask, for example, her friend, so her friend here, Jody, to either join the trip, and then she would create her own shopping list, or to add items onto her list. And that's what we mean by social shopping. It's letting people start to invite their friends via the social network to specify which items they want to buy. Actually, they already do that. They call their friends over the phone, they chat over WeChat, but this platform makes it easier for them because it's enabling the social shopping activity itself. So through social amplification, through these features, we allow Jody to add items that she wants to buy to the Nelly shopping list, and we also allow Jenny to notify to us that she's actually planning to go on the same trip, and then she can start her own shopping list as well, a social shopping list, so she can also invite her mom as well, or her sisters, or her friends, to add some items onto it. So what's next? Well, now that she's planned her shopping list, she's on the way to Paris, say, to Europe, and there's specific features that we can develop, or that we are developing actually, that help her find a way to the store. Just that additional piece of service that just helped me to check in real time where the store is, whether the taxi is trying to con me, or whether I'm looking for my way specifically in that foreign street, where is the Via de Roma, and then I'm getting to the store. Now, in the store, we'll provide sales assistants with an iPad that allows them to see the information that's, of course, integrated back into the system, so that she can see that Nelly is arriving at a specific time, specific date. She can see, the sales rep can see the items that Nelly is very interested into, and she can see also the friends list and the items that Nelly's friends are very interested into. So that enables her, of course, enables the brand to deliver a service that's very personalized, to address the customer by their name, and to start to provide a very personal service. In the future, and again, I was saying this is coming, she might even be able to, 1, 2, 3, 4, pay with her phone without pulling a credit card. And for her, it's quite important because she knows she's paying in RMB. She knows she doesn't have to pull out a funky Visa or MasterCard card or a UnionPay card. She can just, scan the QR code, 1, 2, 3, 4, and have paid. It's the convenience factor, and it's this additional service that means a lot to them, because that's what they're starting to experience now in China. And at the same time as she does that, if, of course, she purchased her friend's items, the system can automatically notify her friends. So through social networks, through WeChat, her friend will be seeing a little notification that says, hey, your friend Nelly just bought the bag that you really wanted. And that's starting conversation around the brand, and it's also starting to create that excitement where normally a few more friends will get invited, in the chat. She can share her experience. You've enabled WeChat. She's already in the store. She can start, and she will do that anyway. Take a picture to share it. By the way, yes, somebody yesterday said that people in China take pictures a lot. That's because they want to share it on WeChat. WeChat is a real reason why people take pictures on their phones all the time. Now, this is great because, again, as I said, finally in China, we have a platform, a social network platform, that allow us to create digital services that have the DNA of your brands, that have the specificity of your brands, and therefore we can create systems that allow us to pull data to figure out what really is happening and optimize. And this is just, again, thanks WeChat for really doing a great platform, because it's really great. This is how it kind of works technically. I'm not going to go into too much details, but the data is held by you. You as a client, as a brand, are owning your client relationships. It's not a templated store on Tmall where some other vendors might be keeping that relationship with their customers and try to cross-sell them to other products. This is actually your own service that you've integrated to your WeChat service. And it will integrate to the CMS, it will integrate to the iPad in-store, and it will integrate to the WeChat services in China, as well as when they're traveling in Paris or elsewhere. Okay, so this is about the social shopping kind of concept. That was it. Now I want to share with you a few more pointers about WeChat user acquisition winning strategies. There's actually a big challenge with WeChat is that it doesn't work like Facebook or Twitter. There's not really a digital way to actually acquire WeChat users. It's a very physical activity. There are QR codes on posters, in retail, on physical magazines. And that's the primary way to promote your WeChat service. So you would scan the QR code from your phone, subscribe to the service account, and you would be a follower to that specific account. So that's the first way to do it. And a lot of brands and agencies kind of think around on how to optimize that the best way possible, measure the highest conversion rates, and so on and so forth. The second way, which is very important to me, it's that viral component, which enables you to actually generate additional subscribers. So, such as the social shopping, my luxury shopper experience I was just sharing with you earlier, there's more and more services that are generating viral activities, and that really allows, of course, new customers to follow the WeChat account. The latest one, which was really interesting, is an activity I've seen from actually WeChat itself and some of the other big brands as well, big Chinese brands, with this famous Hongbao activity. So Hongbao is this red packets during Chinese New Year. People shared with each other money to wish each other good health and good luck. And WeChat has set up their own Hongbao activity, which has gone super viral. A number of brands have tried to replicate that in a social way, and you can do it. You can do it through, again, the WeChat APIs. And they're pretty viral and pretty interesting activities. There might be other type of viral games as well that create the same type of activity. The other very interesting acquisition point for WeChat followers, and probably actually the most interesting one to acquire your customers, is WeChat Pay. So WeChat Pay allows you to integrate to your retail stores. This is only in China today, but it will come, I'm sure, internationally pretty soon, because Alipay internationalized their services recently, and they compete with each other. And that means that when your customer is paying and has been scanning your QR code, you could ask them to follow your service account. And that's how you can integrate specific services, such as after-sales services, receipts management via WeChat, as well as the whole CRM component and brand universe sharing activity. When you're talking to your customer directly, you can really provide a richer experience, and they will listen to you more than the, I would say, other type of acquisitions. Wi-Fi acquisition is a new also feature. Well, not so new. 6 months ago, about 6 months ago, WeChat opened this new Wi-Fi acquisition method. So what it basically does is that in-store, when users are scanning a QR code, through the process of following your account, they can access your Wi-Fi service. No need to know a password or anything like that. You found the QR code, you scan the QR code, you say yes, there's one button to tap onto, and you're accessing the Wi-Fi service. That is also one way to facilitate followers acquisition onto WeChat. Okay, I managed to go through that. So just to summarize, 4 points I think that are quite important if you really want to start to create a good WeChat service. The first one is to remember that WeChat is not just a social network. It's just a lot more than that. And I think you really need to think about building services, go beyond just sending promotions, because people switch off from just reading promotions, but they really get hooked into the right service, and they will respect that. They will even share about it. The third point is think CRM and social shopping. So I think, especially if you're targeting outbound Chinese travelers, it's pretty important that you, think about what people use social networks for, what they do today. They already are starting to talk to their friends before their trips about what they want to buy, and help facilitate those activities. And that's not necessarily for today, but keep an eye on WeChat Pay, because the day WeChat Pay actually internationalize, you can really start to create very interesting services in your retail, but also really O2O, so integrating also e-commerce into WeChat. Okay, that's it, if you have any questions.
Okay. Thank you very much. So it sounds like the real threat to Alibaba, especially going overseas and in mobile going forward, is going to be WeChat, more than traditional e-commerce oriented sites.
Yeah, but Alibaba is very strong. Alibaba is very strong, but WeChat is adopting a very different philosophy. And I think we talked about the fast pace of change in China. I think it's totally what WeChat is playing with now. And they definitely have a very different strategy than Alibaba. The way they work also with developers in providing them with these APIs, these tools that allow them to build very customized services, is kind of mind-blowing. It's just a totally different philosophy from what Alibaba is doing. And yes, of course, Alibaba is very scared by Tencent. They just went IPO, though. They have a lot of money as well. They want to beat WeChat. They have built their own social networks. It just didn't work. What Alibaba did very well is their payment platforms, and of course the Tmall stores, which is a huge, huge business.
I think there's also a tie-up with Sina and Weibo. Is that correct? That Alibaba is looking to work with Weibo?
Yes, that's right. Weibo is also reacting. Yesterday there was a lady, I don't know if she's here still, from Weibo. And
Mindy, are you here?
Are you here? No, okay. Yeah. Never mind. She's busy, I'm sure. Basically, what WeChat did, if you think a little bit about it, is very similar to what Facebook had done on web, but failed to do on mobile. A few years ago, there's probably still today people building customized Facebook applications, integrating to Facebook APIs to build social activities. Well, WeChat has totally opened that on their mobile platform. Weibo did not, and now is starting to do the same. So let's say that this is a new area called enhanced social network services that goes beyond just social network marketing. And WeChat is at the forefront of it, but probably others will follow. Yeah.
Okay. My luxury shopper platform, it's very interesting. I can see it fits just exactly into what consumers want. Yep. And how they want to learn about products, plan for shopping, and carry out the shopping. But my question is whether the retailers, especially when you come somewhere like Paris or London, are ready to activate it on their end. And like in the stores, are the customer service salespeople ready to have those products put together for the appointment? And then on the logistical side, a lot of times these big global companies, they don't have the same products in the same places, or they have different product numbers. And so trying to do a system like this, I just wonder if on the back end, are these companies really ready to handle it?
No, actually, one of the reasons why I'm very stressed is that I'm talking to people and I have no idea of what WeChat is and what the opportunity is for them. And that's really, really kind of crazy, because that the Chinese consumers are so important to your business. It will be increasingly more and more important, and you have to adapt the way you do things to them. If you don't do it, your competition will do it. And but in terms of what the My Luxury Shopper is as a concept and a platform, which is currently in build, we have made it very easy, actually, for brands to integrate into it. There's no booking of items. It's actually more of a wish list. We call it a shopping list, though, to create more of a positioning of commitment from the shoppers themselves. So the shoppers will be going through the catalog, and they will be identifying items that are part of the shopping list. But really, when they get in the store, we totally understand that the gentleman from Hermes again was mentioning potential supply issues. It's not a commitment at that stage. Actually, the plan is to have the iPads feedback any potential change of the shopping list to the system, so that of course the data can be clean.
So it's a wish list, not a shopping cart.
It's called a shopping list, but it's actually technically, from a retail perspective, a wish list.
Okay. Any questions in the audience? Okay, we have one here.
Hello, I'm Yao from Figaro Media.
Yeah.
So, because most of the cases you talk about is B2C for the WeChat account.
Yes.
But I'm thinking for B2B, what is strategy to build a WeChat account? Because from what I observe, it's mainly like a media platform.
Actually, WeChat is a bad media platform. It's not really designed like Weibo or for advertising so much. It's a great service building platform. I never thought about B2B, but it's a great idea. There's a lot of services possible on B2B.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Thomas.
you.
That was great. Thank you.
Cheers.